When you have people coming to you with ideas, with ways to make things better, you'll know that one, they trust you as the leader, and they're also bought into the vision. Because ultimately, any vision in any department, in any setting where there is a leader with people who are following them, when everybody is working together to make things better, that's when you know you have buy-in.
Chad Peterman here, and you are listening to Can't Stop the Growth, a platform for leaders and teams to grow and thrive. We highlight the importance of personal development, pursuing greatness, and always chasing your potential. Let's get into it.
Today, we're going to talk again on another one of Maxwell's laws, the law of buy-in. And so this is one of my favorites, and I think mainly because I've experienced it firsthand and how to navigate this. I wouldn't say I'm perfect, and I'll talk about a couple of areas that I've still got to get better at, but it's something that over my 14 years of being here is something that I can relate to really, really well. And so when we think about the law of buy-in, it is, as Maxwell says, people buy into the leader before they buy into the vision. So you can have the greatest plan, the greatest idea, you can be the smartest person out there, but in most businesses, in most endeavors, it's going to take people to carry that out, right? And that's what makes this a lot of fun, at least for me, is that we get to bring in a lot of people with a lot of different backgrounds, a lot of different specialties to hopefully make the best, collection of people that we possibly can. And so when you think about buy-in, especially when you're thinking about buy-in from a bunch of different angles, you've got to really, really work as the leader to create that vision that everybody can buy into. And so, when or if people are going to commit to the vision, they've got to believe in the leader that is leading them. Think about your teams that you have. I think there's a number of examples in this room where potentially a department was struggling or just wasn't clicking, and there's a leadership change made, and then all of a sudden they make a 180. Well, why is that? If the same people are in the same department and we change the leader, and all of a sudden they start performing really, really well, well, why is that? There's probably a number of reasons, but one of the biggest being that more than likely they are buying into the leader. The vision probably remained the same. It's to carry out the work. It's to get this done. Yeah, there's probably small tweaks here and there, but isn't it weird that same course of action, same plan, same, kind of marching orders, and all of a sudden they carry it out 10 times better? So why is that? And that's what we're going to dive into today, is how do we build this trust with our team? How do we create this buy-in where people start to believe in the person casting the vision ultimately to carry it out? And so when we think about understanding the law of buy-in, how do we create this connection? And more than likely, people are not going to follow the vision blindly. They're not going to sign up here at Peterman Brothers and say, yeah, this sounds great. I think I'm going to work my ass off for whom? Yeah, they may want to work hard for themselves and earn more money and get a promotion and do all of this. But at the end of the day, I think that stronger bond is the one created with the person that they're working hard for, right? We've talked about this a number of times, is how do you gain those followers? How do you gain those people that are going to run through that wall for your vision? And I think it's important to remember too that, vision can sometimes be this kind of pie in the sky, vision, that sounds great. What are we talking about here? I'm a leader and I have people that I lead, but I don't necessarily have a vision. Well, your vision can be as simple as, we want to carry this task, this duty, this responsibility out to the best of our abilities. We want everybody clicking. We want the team working together. We want to do our best to be at our best, right? And so buy-in has a number of stages. So you've got to first understand what your role as the leader is, right? And that's operating with character, competence, and credibility. So how do we build competence, character, and credibility? The hope is that we found people who are of high character, right? You do what you say, you carry through with things, you operate ethically, you operate with integrity, all of those things, right? And so character is kind of one, to me, that is the foundational piece. If you don't have good character, you're gonna struggle to build trust, to build that buy-in, right? I think we would all agree with that. And I don't think character is one of those things like you either have it or you don't. I think it's more so how you act on a daily basis, right? All of those people that we would identify as operating with high character, it's not just like they said something really, unbelievable one day. No, it's they consistently, day in, day out, show up, do what they say they're going to do, are there for others, really invested in the success of their teams. All of those things, to me, are the foundational pieces of how do you operate? Do you have good character? And the next piece of that is competence. And so this is a tricky one, and one that I think that I've personally had to navigate because, as I've said before and say all the time, I don't have the skills that our field professionals have. I don't know how to do that stuff. I've learned a few things over the years, but you don't want me fixing your furnace or your electrical panel, and that's okay. And so I think competence is really tied closely to character. Like, if you don't know all the answers, the most powerful thing you can do is admit you don't have all the answers. To me, that speaks to your character. It also speaks to who you are. You're not trying to be someone that you're not. And I think those that are willing to be a little bit vulnerable, to admit that I don't have all the answers, create a hell of a lot more buy-in than the person who, has a lot of answers or is always, pronouncing that they have the best idea or whatever it is. I mean, I start out a number of conversations with, I don't know what the best answer is. This is simply my opinion. Or, hey, this is what I've learned from doing this for a while. Again, it's just an opinion. It doesn't matter where you rank on the, totem pole or whatever it is. Like, we're all working at this together. And so when I think about competence, I think it's important to understand that you don't have to have all the answers. Creating buy-in via competence is not, hey, I'm the smartest one in the room. We've all heard the phrase, hey, it's good to be the dumbest one in the room, right? That means that you're surrounded by a lot of really smart people. And over the years, I've found that I become dumber and dumber every room that I sit in, because we bring in smart people that have great solutions and great answers and know their area of expertise really, really well. And that's a lot of fun once you embrace the fact that you don't have to have all the answers. The last piece is credibility. So I think this kind of ties the first two together of character and competence, because are you credible? Like, are you the person who is looked at of like, they'll get it done. They'll knock it out. Like, come hell or high water, they'll have that stuff done. And I think that being credible is a lot about effort. It's there. Do you move with urgency? Do you get things done? Can people count on you? It's really that simple. And you can probably think of people on both ends of that spectrum. You can probably think of the people that if you ask them to do something, it'll probably be taken care of before you even think about sending any follow-up message. And then you've got the people that it'll take 8 follow-up messages to get something done, right? And again, a lot of that is about effort. Are you willing to get that stuff done? Are you even willing to send a message to say, hey, got it, working on it. It's going to take me a little bit longer than I first anticipated, or a little bit longer than you may have wanted it done, but this is why. Well, that's a reasonable excuse. To me, that adds to your credibility. That creates more buy-in to, I want to be working with this person. The second is when they start to latch onto that vision. When they know that you have good character, you have that competence, you have the credibility, is when they start latching onto, well, what is it that you want me to do? Well, how could I do this better? Am I doing something wrong that you would like done a different way? When your people start coming and asking you, how can I do this a little bit better? Or is this the way that you want it done? Or, hey, even better, probably the best one is, hey, I've got an idea. I know you want me to do it this way, but have we thought about doing it this other way? Because I think it may make the whole process better. When you have people coming to you with ideas, with ways to make things better, you'll know that, one, they trust you as the leader, and they're also bought into the vision. Because ultimately, any vision in any department, in any setting where there is a leader with people who are following them, when everybody is working together to make things better, that's when you know you have buy-in. If you find yourself literally just dictating down orders, you'll know that you need to work on buy-in because you don't have the buy-in yet. You just have a bunch of people who are there doing what they're told to do. But the thing to remember about buy-in is it takes time, right? It doesn't just happen overnight. It isn't like, well, hey guys, remember I have good character and credibility and competence, so everybody should buy into the vision. It takes time. But when you get them to where they are moving in that direction, where they are getting better each day, where they're excited about getting better, where they're excited about chasing this vision, you'll know that you can then raise the bar of what that vision looks like. You'll know when people under you start elevating to that next level. When people are looking at you like, my God, so-and-so is unbelievable. Like, they are really good. And you're like, yeah, I know. They are really an awesome part of this team. They have helped me out tremendously. They are moving things in the right direction. And when we think about, like, examples of this, of people within, history, within our world today that we view as like, oh my gosh, like those guys, that is like an unbelievable leader. And so I think about some of the most like incredible basketball coaches, right? Coach K, who used to coach at Duke, like watching him and the ability for him to Duke gets like, they don't have to go to the transfer portal because they got 4 of the top 5 high school seniors coming to Duke next year. Like, they don't need to go find anybody really because they've got the best crop of people. But what I've always admired about what they've done and obviously what Coach K did for years and years and years is he was able to bring all these people in that were the best of the best, literally recognized as one of the top high school basketball players in the country. He was able to bring them in and say, hey, you're probably not going to score 30 a game on this squad. In fact, you may be coming off the bench on this squad. But if we put all the pieces together, if everybody buys into their role, if everybody does what they're supposed to do, as a team, we can create something really, really special. And he did a number of times, right? And there's a number of coaches out there. You think of, Nick Saban in college football, like he brought in the best of the best. And if you watch all of his messaging and if you've ever seen clips of him in practice, like he wasn't afraid to ride the guy who had been a 2-time All-American and was going to get drafted in the top 10 of the NFL draft and make millions of dollars. Hell, now he's got he did have guys on his team that were making millions of dollars while they played for him. And he was able to get them to buy in to what it is that they're doing. And so I think it's important to think, and, I spend a lot of time, like, if you just watch like clips of this stuff and the way that he thought and the way a lot of these top coaches think and try to build that buy-in with their team, they are masters at it. It's really a special thing to watch when buy-in is created. when people on your team are working right alongside you, when people no longer work for you, they work with you, it's a really, really special thing. And that's when you'll know that you've created that buy-in, and all of a sudden, then you can start to do even bigger and better things. Without buy-in, it's going to be really hard to continue to raise the bar. Really hard. Because you're pulling people along. You've got to pull them to that next level. As opposed to when you have buy-in, everybody's pushing to that next level. There is no pulling going along. Because everybody is inspired by the vision of creating something better. Everybody's working really hard. Everybody's doing their part to continue to move the needle. And so when you think about, how do I apply this? Like, where can I get better? What are actionable steps? They're all the same things we've been talking about since the beginning of November. Are you meeting with your team? Not having a team meeting, but are you meeting with them individually to understand where they're struggling? Are you meeting with your team to continue to let them know consistently, not just a one-off, but are you meeting with them consistently to emphasize that you want their success as bad or more than they do? If you want to create buy-in, you will take the time. I get it. If I had a nickel for every time someone mentioned, oh, got to do my one-on-ones. Yeah, because if you do, your life becomes easier. Your life becomes easier because you create buy-in. And when you have that buy-in, all of a sudden, you don't have to do every damn thing in the world. Leadership is about lifting those that you lead up. Well, you can't lift them up if you're consistently telling them what to do all the time. If you're consistently having to think for them, you can't do it. You cannot continue to lift them up. And it is going to be a long, long road. It's frustrating. It's not fun. So if you feel areas where something isn't fun, or I'm doing somebody else's job, then you haven't created enough buy-in. And the great part about that is you can start creating it today. You can start creating this buy-in by meeting with your team, by understanding what they want to do, what success looks like for them, and how that folds into the bigger vision. You know, the problem with fast growth, like we've seen over the years, is it goes counter to creating buy-in, right? The one thing that I've struggled with is I want people to move at breakneck speed. I want people to act with urgency. I want people to go get it. And sometimes I don't get that in return. It's not anybody on the team's fault. It's my fault. Because I haven't worked hard enough to create the buy-in needed for people to want to run as fast as I think we can run. And that's where I've really got to work. And the hard part is creating that buy-in takes time. And when you think about urgency, you want things to happen right now, right? You want them done yesterday. And so as leaders, we have to balance the two, right? When it comes to creating buy-in. Because if we just continually push stuff down, if we just continually hope that someone's going to catch on, again, we're not doing ourselves. We're not doing, most importantly, those that we lead, a great service. And so when you think about buy-in, where are there areas on your team where someone maybe doesn't have what you think that they're capable of having? Where does someone lack the urgency? Where does someone maybe not fully understand what the vision is? And what I want you to do is be okay with that. That is a natural part of leadership. I just told you right now, I'm going through it. I want to run faster. Well, running faster is this new elevated vision that I think we can achieve. Well, I've got to work not just on pushing down stuff. I've got to work on how do I elevate people so that they're pushing with me, so that they can see it too. Because if they can't see it, if they don't understand that I'm invested in them, that I think that they are a key piece of this, then I've got to continue to work harder to get buy-in. Not continue to work harder to tell them what to do. I've got to continue to work harder to make sure that they know how important they are to achieving what it is that I think we can achieve. And that's the cool part about leadership. The cool part about leadership is you get to see something that maybe people on your team can't see, and you get to help them get there. You get to help them achieve that. And to me, that is the most satisfying part of leadership. Because as a leader, what you can understand is that you don't accomplish things on your own. If we achieve this vision, it's not because I did it. I told you at the outset, I can't do 80% of the things in this business that need to be done. I can't do it. I don't know how. I can maybe figure it out, a YouTube video or something like that, but I can't figure it out. Half of the stuff I don't want to figure out because I know I wouldn't be good at it. And that's okay. And the same may go for you. How do you pull those up? By showing them a vision, and ultimately it circles back around to they are helping you push to that vision because they can see it. They can see that there's a better way. They can see that that urgency is ultimately helping them, which collectively helps the bigger cause. The law of buy-in is extremely, extremely important. The hard part is it takes time. And sometimes that's counter to where you need to go and what you need to do. But being able to balance those two, being able to find buy-in with your team is ultimately what's going to allow your department, you as a leader, succeed. Very simple, but it's hard. And it's hard because you're trying to get others to believe in what you believe in. What you believe is possible, not only for the organization, but for themselves.
Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to connect with me personally, you can find me at chadmpeterman.com. To see what our team's up to, you can visit petermanbros.com. Don't forget to check out the YouTube channel and consider joining the CSTG arena. As always, keep growing out there.